6,875 pounds, the 28 BHS J Flight here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Finally getting back in stock. This has been impressively popular, and we have spent more time sold out of it than with it in stock, with it on constant reorder status. Why is that? Why is this so popular? Well, J Flights are and have been the #1 selling, not just trailer, but RV since '05 and counting. They have double the warranty. They're taller inside. We've applied a heavier insulation package to this. It's half-ton towable, can sleep up to 10 people. I mean, how many reasons do you want, right? Being able to access an RV with the slide closed like it is right now in transit, or if you just want to get the RV packed up, is very handy. And it's one of the things the 28 BHS J Flight does well, obviously. With the slide closed, we can easily get to the bathroom. And one of the cool things about them using twice as many lights is they put lights on the right and left sides of the ceiling. So when the slide's closed, it's not blocking all the lights, and you can see enough to get in here. Now, if you do need to make a quick travel pit stop, or you just want to get the RV packed, obviously you can get to all of the storage in the kitchen. And that's what's cool. This one's not mostly travel accessible. It is 100% travel accessible, especially since they put the drawers here instead of mounting the drawers on that side of the kitchen island, or peninsula rather, as it were. But man, you ain't gonna fit through that bedroom. Well, this one has another secret weapon. This camper comes with a second entry door straight to the bedroom, and that's what makes it 100% travel accessible, so that if you do need to pop in here, even if you just want to grab a quick jacket, or if you want to get your clothes packed up or unloaded when you are getting ready to leave or come back, this has all of the abilities there. Now, some people get a little spooked by a door in the bedroom, but guys, remember, it's a deadbolt. You can just leave it locked. It's not like someone's going to walk in and watch you sleep, because, creepy, am I right? Opened up, you start to really see this layout is just that really, extremely well-balanced ratio of space to storage, of sleeping to living, of kitchen to, everything. It's just got the right amount of everything. Now, I want to mention that the one that we have in stock could look different from this video. Like the decor that we're looking at on the furniture and the window treatments might be different on the one that we have in stock. This video is here just to give you an idea. Now, this is a very popular bunk concept, not just within Jayco, but you'll find it in a lot of different things in the business. Like also very popular would be something in our Cherokee series, like a 264 DBH. There's laminated things like this all over the place in the Coachman 287, the Winnebago 27 BHSS, the Rockwood 2706 SS. Too many model numbers. A lot of alphabet soup. And they all have their little different things. So why is this one among the most popular of all those? One of the first things I like to talk about on any Jayco is double the warranty, and we'll get to that more when we step outside. But inside, they're taller. This has a 6'9" interior height instead of 6.5-foot wall. Sometimes a camper will have the little bubble ceiling, sometimes not. But at the end of the day, this has more cubic foot of space inside, and a taller wall, guys, means that the slide out can be taller. It means the cabinets can be taller. It means the bunks can be bigger. It means the shower has more room in the bathroom. So the taller ceiling like this, the taller walls, really determine the functionality of the camper. Now, an optional piece of equipment you can't see, but one that you'll typically find on any full-blown J Flight like this here at Haylett RV, is the larger 15,000 BTU air conditioner, so that you do get that extra cooling power. And again, the insulation that we package that we apply to these is a best-in-class feature. Nobody in a wood skeleton travel trailer has a better insulation package, and I will get into that more detail outside. So all the windows open for airflow. They're all UV tinted as well, so it will help keep the heat down in here organically, and it improves your privacy. Now, if you are really wanting to blot out the sun, or you need max privacy or anything like that, these things have like near blackout window shades right here. So you can see a little light come through them, but like just to give you an idea, if you watch where the light's cascading in, I mean, it's a heck of a difference. These are near blackout shades, and they do an amazing job of it. Another neat little thing, and the detail stuff on these Jaycos is really what impresses me here at Haylett RV. The way that they have the windows all fully trimmed out like this. And it gives this window shade right here something to really bite into on that anchor right there. And I've noticed that since they've started doing that, and they did it mostly for aesthetic visual purposes, but since they started doing it, we don't really seem to have window shade issues with our J flights anymore. Now, over here, something I like to point out, you've got the a full-size U-dinette, and kind of hidden down below, you're going to find these interesting little storage totes. This is something that I think they actually kind of borrowed from their sister cousin, whatever you want to call it, the White Hawk Ultralight, which is very much just a J-Flight Ultralight. But it's an what's neat about this is it's very multi-purpose. If you don't want them under the dinette, put them in the pass-through storage, and then you can use this whole bench for like big heavy stuff. Or if you've got a bunch of little loose stuff, you can put them in here and it can function like a drawer. So it's an inexpensive but incredibly intelligent and effective feature right here. Now, another thing that's easy to miss, and whether you apply the insulation package or not to a J-Flight, I got the table on me, hold on, let me move over here. If you lift up the carpeting on the slide flooring, you're going to see double-sided thermofoil. All J-Flights have insulated slide floors. Now, one thing you might have noticed there is that in the slide-out floor, and only in the slide-out floor of a Jayco, are you going to find structure wood, or OSB. One of the big things on Jaycos that they talk about is that they're not made with a lot of OSB. They have a 5/8 tongue groove plywood floor, 3/8 tongue groove plywood roof, which like almost nobody else has. So why are they using OSB here? Did they think you weren't going to look? And the answer is no, 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 no. They have a custom built, specially engineered slide floor. That stuff is called PMAX. It is thicker, stronger, more load bearing, and it can be built on like a wedge shape, because this slide out is floor flush. It actually, when it goes out, it actually slides down to be more floor flush than above the floor effectively. As compared to the plywood floor that they used to use, this has 50% more load bearing capacity in this application. So in this one area here, that item, that material was a better, stronger fit. It's also a little more weight. This is not built with weight sensitivity. J-Flights are not an ultralight. They are not lightweight by any stretch. They are, however, made to be bigger, badder, better, and last longer. That's the goal behind these. Now, you see that we've got the huge barn door, basically, to be able to get up to the bedroom, which makes this thing look and feel so much bigger. Now, directly across from the sofa, we have an easy direct viewing entertainment center. Now, your TV is going to be included with that. And from the sofa, it's a straight-on shot. You have a no-neck wrecker TV setup, as I like to call it. But you notice that this is on a swing arm, so if you do want to pivot it out to be able to view from the kitchen or from the dining table, that's very easy to do as well. Now, the kitchen over here is one of the areas where people have really fallen in love with this RV, and it's easy to miss the fact that a lot of the kitchen actually starts over here in what I like to refer to as the pantrytainment center. When that thing opens up, you're like, holy crap, Martha, there's a ton of storage down here. One thing that's also neat is they kind of split this up. So you've got dedicated almost like pantry or like almost dresser shelving over here if you want to utilize this for bunk storage, but you've got a dedicated hanger right there. So if you do want to use this like an entry coat closet, or you want to make it an extra shirt closet or something for the kiddos, you can do that too. And I kind of like the fact that this is sort of like a bucket right there, how it does drop down inside of it. So if you want to use that like a really long-term shoe garage, you can. Although for everyday in and out shoe garage use, you do have one built right here by the entry door. Above that, behind the TV area, there's not an ounce of space gone to waste. They made sure they didn't waste or lose anything. And you can see that we do have a privatized docking center to keep the grandkids and the little kids' fingers away from things. Now back over here in the kitchen proper, the obvious section of the kitchen, we start with a nice stainless appliance bundle and an 8 cubic foot refrigerator freezer. And that's 33% more than the average camper in this class, and that's standard in a J-Flight. That's one of the differences between a Flight and an SLX, is they have a bigger refrigerator. Over here you can also see that J-Flights, as I like to say, nerdism number 37, they have drawers to the floors, ladies and gentlemen. They start at the counter and they put drawers all the way down. You'll find a lot of brands might have 1 or 2 or 3 drawers. J-Flights put as many as they possibly can, even if that means it's down to the floor. So what it lets you do is keep your everyday use stuff like your silverware up top, and maybe your infrequently used stuff like pots and pans, sort of hot pads or something on the bottom there. A lot of different things you can do with it. As we move up, You see thermofoil countertops here. This has a sealed edged pressed membrane countertop. So there's no T-molding where, especially around a water source like the sink, water could get into there. And speaking of the sink, you have a dual basin recessed sink right here with a rollaway aluminum drying rack and then the individual like cutting board sink cover that's fitted in place so it doesn't jostle around on you. Now, it is impressive how shiny and metallic looking they can make plastics nowadays, guys. But if you do the wedding ring test, you can hear the difference between the metallic fixtures on a J-Flight and the plastic fixtures on most all other brands. And little details like that, those are the little things that allow Jayco to have twice the warranty of anybody else. It's a bunch of little things that change the difference. Kind of like a real tile backsplash around here. And I love the fact that you have outlets against the wall. Now, in a laminated RV, you will often have kitchen outlets mounted under the overhead cabinets. The problem is most appliances seem to be shipping with shorter and shorter and shorter power cords. So having the plugs down lower where they're easier to get to, well, it just makes more sense. Plus, they're located in intelligent areas like that back corner. That's a perfect little coffee maker, blender corner, whatever. Up top, this is another one of those areas where the taller ceiling in a J-Flight makes the difference because they don't just have overhead cabinets. They have a shelved overhead cabinet. So you have literally double the square foot of horizontal storage space. They are also not shy with their lighting in these things so that when you are in the kitchen or the living room or anywhere, it always lightens up and brightens up pretty darn nicely. One last thing in the kitchen before we move to the bedroom is the huge open wastebasket space under the sink right there. It allows you to put those larger wastebaskets or maybe bigger stuff, big pots and pans, whatever in there. So I mentioned earlier, but we have this extra wide door into the bedroom. It makes it feel so much larger and open and welcoming in here. Big old sliding privacy door. Now, right here is our TV hookups for the bedroom, but what's neat is this is the TV's not included in the bedroom, but they do ship the Ideal TV mount here. So basically it comes with all kinds of different screw and bolt patterns, so whatever TV you decide to add to this, what's neat is this is a quick release, and you can take this outside as well. So if you want indoor or outdoor entertainment, you can actually have one screen double dip and perform multiple duties. Now we have full hanging closets, full overhead cabinet space, and all the cabinetry we've looked at is longer lasting pocket screwed cabinetry with hardwood framed out doors as opposed to like a sticker wrap particle board. Now over here you see they're using the taller toothpick window, but notice that it does still open for ventilation and it's still UV tinted, and those are the little key differences between J-Flights and so many other things. A lot of other campers have the big window here. They don't all open for airflow. They aren't all UV tinted. Big open stands on both sides of the bed make it ideal for CPAPs, alarm clocks, etc. And this is a full 60 by 80 residential size queen. So normal queen sheets are going to fit this, no sweat. And there is easy lift storage below that, as you notice. So if what you're looking for is, maximum inside-outside flexible storage space, you have it. Now, just to give you a quick look at it the other way, once again, we've got that direct viewing entertainment center. So on a rainy day when we're stuck in here, if you are relegated to kind of watching a couple DVDs or something, you're going to be good. Oh, something I forgot to talk about in the kitchen. This is an optional piece of equipment, the kitchen skylight. We tend to build all of our J-Flights with it here at Haylett RV. It just helps open it up, brighten it up. And if you do feel like an ant under the magnifying glass, if it's a little hot, you pull that shade and you will cut down so much heat it's not even funny. And frankly, that's just a good tip even on these little pleated shades over here. Now, if we back up, you can see that we've got this big, spacious, open living room. But what if the bunks, like you let the kids bring friends or you bring family, the bunks just aren't enough? Well, if you take a look, you've got a full trifold sleeper sofa as well as a full-size U-dinette. So this thing can sleep up to 10 if need be. Now, the longer dinette and hide-a-bed means that this camper actually has a longer slide-out, which is part of the reason why it has a larger entertainment center, because if this wall's longer, the opposite wall has to be longer too. Another neat thing here is this totally free-floating elliptical base dinette. So obviously its primary job is to be the, dining table for everyone. But what's cool is with that free-floating base, you can do some neat things. For instance, if you fold that table down, you see that we can leave the U-dinette like a big open lounge, And the sofa over here can kind of have like its own little coffee table. Another thing you could do is very easily float that table outside for outdoor use. Now, over here in the entertainment center, something I haven't talked about is the, like, it seems like every camper has some kind of like Bluetooth thing nowadays. But this is a little bit nicer grade where you can get the IRV app on your phone and you can sync it to the stereo unit here. And anything that you can do on this, you can control straight from your phone. So if you're outside, you want to turn the music up or down, you don't even have to get out of your chair. It's DVD. And it has HDMI input with a charging port. So if you want to get one of those little Bluetooth streaming sticks for mobile, movies and TV and stuff, you can do that. Now over here, you've got the two things that I really, really love. You got the flip-up cargo bunk, and what's cool about that is the bottom, I guess call it gate, opens down here, and you can kind of like back bikes or big cargo into it, and it gives you just such a good traveling cargo space or extra little play corner for the kids on a rainy day. Now obviously that can fold down as you see here and create just a big double bunk, but one of my other favorite features on this is the open air ladder wall. First popularized by the Keystone Passport ultralights that we carry here at Haylett RV, the ladder doubles as the part of the structure for the upper bunk. And because it's not a full wall, it's not as blocking and obtrusive, it makes the whole RV look and feel bigger, more open and airy. Now let's look at some detail things. A lot of campers with double bunks like this, people don't think about it, you'll have one giant curtain that closes off both of the bunks. But Jayflight went the extra mile. They gave you two individual curtains, so you can kind of do different things, or you can put kids to bed at different times, or anything really. It just gives you more options, more flexibility, and as always, the better materials, the better construction on a Jayflight lead to better bunk capacities. This upper bunk is rated for up to 600 pounds. All Jayco bunks are always rated for 300 pounds per sleeping space, and that's another best-in-class feature. Also best-in-class are thicker bunk mattresses, and again, better materials. Other than the purpose-built slide flooring, which is actually stronger than plywood in that one specific application, you're not going to find OSB through this product. Another thing they really did well here, and I mean they did well, is this bathroom. This is a dynamite bathroom. So let's kind of start over here. We've got a big adult-sized sink, but you notice that both the sink and the full like vanity medicine cabinet, they're actually mounted on an angle so that it faces inward toward the bathroom. Now down here, all this extra shelving for that extra toilet paper and toothpaste or whatever, all your toiletries, that is so valuable, and it's something a lot of campers will omit. Porcelain foot flush stool mounted on an angle to give long guys like me extra leg room. And then we have just an absolutely massive shower here. And right before we step into it, one of the things I want to point out in this is this single itty bitty little blue LED light. Really not impressive during the day, is it? At night though, that thing will cause this whole bathroom, especially that bright white shower, to just glow. And it's the perfect little night light so that you never have to flip on bright lights, and my boondocking friends will like that because it just doesn't even scratch the battery. Now, remember, taller ceiling means that this bathroom is more friendly to taller people like me. Case in point, I am not standing with my head in the bubble. I can walk around anywhere I want in here. And this right here is one of the main reasons, one of the very main reasons why when I camp, you typically find me in a Jayflight. Now, commonly when people see that aluminum skin and they find out this has a wood frame, they think it's cheaper, not built better, it's not equipped as well. And in the case of a Jayflight, nothing could be further from the truth. Wood skeleton construction is not lesser, is not worse than aluminum skeleton construction. They're different. This is less expensive. It is a little more weight. That's kind of the offset. Whereas something like this can be less weight, but it's going to be more expensive. So there's a push and a pull either way. Neither is structurally stronger, neither is going to last you longer. The thing that determines that is how do you take care of it. And that's kind of the cool thing about a Jayflight. They're built so that you have to take a little less care of them. And a couple little easy detail things to point that out. If you look inside their baggage doors, you're going to see that it's fully trimmed out. Anything that would be exposed wood is all protected, because this is an area of frequent high exposure when you open that baggage door, especially like in the morning. If there's some condensation on this baggage door, you lift it up, it's going to want to dribble down and it's going to want to drop right there. So this is protected from that. Now, when we look down in here, you can see that they have extra large baggage doors on both sides. They're wider and taller for easier access. You see all that tasty plywood I've mentioned, and we already kind of saw the storage under the bed from the inside. Now, more detailed stuff, the fact that all of our lights, whether they're tail or marker lights, are all LED. And if you look real close, you'll see that Jayco takes the extra time to top seal all exterior components, basically, so that it's just one more layer of like leak guard, leak prevention, extra longevity and quality. Up here on the tongue, you might see that little blue sticker. This does have a simple side mount solar prep package. So if you do have one of those little portable panels, you're going to be all good. And if we get really close as we pass the front of it here, you'll see that the diamond plate stone guard on the nose actually extends down to like almost all the way down, oh, really past the chassis level. Why is that? And if you look even closer, you see that the A-frame tongue mount on this is actually integrated directly into the chassis, as opposed to, oh, right here, as opposed to one where the tongue mount is actually just sort of welded and bolted to the bottom of the chassis. Is that, it's actually not any less structural to do that. That's what I would have thought when I first looked at it, but having spoken with engineers in several production facilities, I've come to find out that no, structurally, in terms of strength, they're fine. They're both fine. But what this lets Jayco do, the reason they do that is, remember that taller interior height that I told you about? This camper is not taller outside, but taller inside because it has a lower floor. The entire base of this is a few inches lower, which allows it to have a taller interior ceiling and lower center of towing gravity without making the RV taller. Isn't that smart? Now, you'll find things like power awning, power tongue jack on pretty much any J-Flight. 30-pound propane tanks are standard on these to give you that extra dry camp time. I mentioned it inside, but it's important to mention while we're out here, all of our windows, again, are UV tinted to give you that extra protection from the sun, extra privacy, and all windows on a J-Flight are going to open for ventilation, so you can always get some excellent airflow. Black tank flush and full outside hot-cold utility shower are going to be additional standard items on any J-Flight. But something that is a best-in-class feature right here are Goodyear Endurance radials. There is nobody else in this class and category really even remotely to it matching this. So these are American made. They're rated for up to 87 miles per hour. Not that you should ever be going that fast when you're towing. Don't ever do that. The fact is, though, these tires are overrated. They're overbuilt. That's kind of who and what a J-Flight is. A lot of people argue, yeah, but I don't know. It's a camper. Does it need to be built that strong, that heavy? And I don't know, the answer is up to you. What do you value in peace of mind? How long do you plan on owning it? You know, those are all questions that kind of determine not which camper is the best, but which one's the best for you, because they're all the best in a different way. So if a heavier built roof with a greater load rating, if better materials, a longer warranty, if better tires, if those things are items that you feel are important, then the answer is a J-Flight. If there are items you don't feel important, well, then maybe you don't need all this. Because it's certainly not the least expensive camper. But there's reasons, again, it's been the #1 RV, not just trailer, but RV period since '05 and counting. These are backup camera ready. And all these features I'm describing to you, aren't these features you commonly find on laminated trailers? But here you find them on what you assume to be an entry-level stick-built camper, as the terminology goes, the tongue-in-cheek terminology. Because these guys have all the equipment. They're just not built with an ultralight shell, which is going to cost an extra $3,000 to $4,000 for a camper this size. There is an option, by the way. You can put a fiberglass skin on a J-Flight. It does not change the structure, though. It's still a stick-built structure, and it actually adds weight because below the fiberglass, they effectively have to add what's basically a 3/8 plywood below that to give the fiberglass skin something to hold on to. So it's good for hail country, but otherwise you're just adding a lot of weight and cost you don't necessarily need. Let's look at the outside kitchen over here, because this is something that Jayco has done very well in so many campers. This low-profile outside kitchen that they use is fantastic. So, of course, we got Dad's medicine cabinet. Regular viewers know that that is for the bottled water and barley pop. Now over here, we've got a telescoping gas-strutted kitchenette. It holds itself open or closed, so that if you bump it or a kid bumps it, it's not like if you got a pot of something hot or boiling like corn or whatever on here, if it gets bumped, it's not going to go flying in and spill hot water on the kiddos. That's a bad day at the office. Here's another detail thing, a real sink with a real drain that does go into a gray holding tank. It doesn't just drizzle onto the floor, not a dog dish. Definitely preferred by almost everybody, it seems. The bigger entry handle and the wider 30-inch entry door and your main door here make coming and going pretty darn easy. Another thing that's neat is your outside speakers right here. They're actually built into the bottom of the awning so that they're always down low on your campsite, and they're always pointing kind of toward your head. They're not mounted up high where they're blowing away Mr. Wildcat and Mr. Cardinal over here so that they call the park police. You know, come, turn the music down, blah! You know, if you're playing music loud, I guess they're justified. So one other thing to look at here, I kind of forgot to talk about when we were talking about tires, is they have galvanized steel wheel guards, like wheel well guards, inside of all J-Flights. And what that's for, guys, God forbid. Now, this is a better tire, and there is no reason it should ever have a failure from, like, road heat and use, but debris is debris. If somebody had an accident, if there's glass, if there's screws on the road, I don't care how good the tire is, there's a chance it could get penetrated and it could fail. Well, if this belted radio gives up the ghost and starts going to town when you're going down the road at highway speeds, that galvanized steel wheel well right there could prevent you from a literal, complete insurance loss. That is something I see happen about once a year. A flat tire literally completely wreck an RV from an insurance value standpoint. So this is that TV mount from inside that I mentioned. I already brought it outside here, and you've got your slick little hookups right there in that area. Now, one thing that I haven't really talked about a lot is the insulation and construction of the camper. And the tricky part is most of that you can't see. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to rely on some visual aids. So first up top here, we're going to kind of start from the top down. One of the things I like to point out on your, really all Jaycos, not just J-Flights, is they're very heavy-handed on their sealants. They don't minimum seal anything. They always over seal so that there's just no chance that they miss some little nook or cranny. I'd rather have them use a little more than a little less every single day of the week. Now, the antenna right here, this wine guard antenna, you do not have to crank it up or down. It is directional so that you get good distance, but you don't have to crank the thing up and down. Now, obviously the roof is walkable because I'm walking on it. I'm walking here. But, you know, the difference between a lot of roofs. Most travel trailer roofs nowadays are walkable. Very few are not. But this has the highest load rating of any travel trailer, period, other than another Jayco. This is rated for like 4,800 pounds. Now, a lot of RV roofs are rated for like 2,800, 2,200, and that's fine. That's fine. That's walkable. The idea here, though, is that it is built heavier, stronger, to last longer with less maintenance and upkeep. If the shell is stronger, then the whole RV should require less maintenance, is the logic behind it. So what are they doing different? Well, I'm walking on top of a pretty exclusive thing, and that's a 3/8 plywood tongue and groove roof decking that is normally not found in the travel trailer or fifth wheel business outside of Jayco. Very few brands use plywood roof decking. Now on top of that, we're on our 5-inch arched Magnum truss roof system right here, and they are thicker roof trusses that have larger nail plates, and basically, guys, that's where a lot of the structural integrity of this thing comes from. They're set roughly every 16 inches on center. Around heavy stuff like an air conditioner, they'll go ahead and double those up. Now, as we go down the side walls, our wall studs are set roughly on average every 16 inches on center, which is pretty normal in this category. But what's different is the fact that the insulation in the sidewalls is hand-cut, hand-tucked, and hand-glued in place on a J-Flight. They don't just kind of stuff it in, and as the trailer goes down the road, it can't bounce down in place because it's been glued in place. Now, above the slide out here, you have an incredible 8-inch micro-laminated header beam that actually extends out past the slide out. Why does that matter? Well, a lot of campers have a 6-inch header beam, and a lot of times it'll just be like a giant, effectively like 2x6. And there's nothing wrong with that, but again, J-Flights are built to last longer over time. Over time, the slide out puts a lot of stress in the RV. Think about the slide. It's literally just a giant hole in the side of the main body of the RV. And it could cause the roof area of that RV to want to kind of sag and droop right there. Well, that stronger, thicker, heavier header beam prevents that from happening. It just can't happen, basically. And as we continue down, we've got a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor deck with 2x3 studs set every 12 inches on center. And then we get to the underbelly. Now, we've applied the insulation package to this one, so the underbelly is enclosed. It's forced air heated. They add extra, now, and that's where most brands will stop. Like, there's nothing wrong with, do I have one over here? Like, there's nothing wrong with that Springdale over there. It's a fantastic camper, actually, from service record standpoint. They're great. They have an enclosed, heated underbelly, but that is where it stops. In this J-Flight, they have added an extra layer of batten insulation, thermal foil insulation like that you saw in the flooring, and then an additional layer of insulation through the roof of this. So this effectively has a like pretty close to an Eagle level insulation package in a stick-built camper. Now, did I say that this is 0 degree Arctic rated camping? No. And the only reason I don't say that is because they haven't actually tested it. I think it actually probably could pass that testing if they actually tested the J-Flights, but they haven't. So I'm not going to make a false promise. I'm not going to make a BS promise, because there is no camper with a stupid R40, R52 roof. That stuff doesn't exist. That's snake oil sales, and they're just bald-faced lies, guys. And that's not the kind of business we do at Haylett RV. What we do here, though, we do hitching, pieces, parts, trades, financing, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything in between, but we don't do hidden dealer fees. We shoot you straight, we put it out there, we educate you so that you can make a better, more informed, educated decision for your hard-earned dollar. If that sounds fair to you, you give us a call. I don't care where you live, we make deals happen. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.